Hey, Angel Face. How are you today? Ready for the weekend? It's Anders. You're my friends. Today we are making the Angel Face. This is a classic cocktail, and I figured I'd bust this one out now because we are coming to the end of summer and we are coming into autumn. So I thought, let's have a cocktail that brings in some autumnal flavors, such as apple. And this is also a classic that I think a lot of people have just forgotten about. So I'm trying to change that. Actually, this is a really simple drink. 3 ingredients, really easy. You might have these ingredients already at home. I do have, some things that we can chat about with this cocktail because there's some points of confusion, actually, for those of you who are familiar with this drink. And for those of you who are just here to have a good time, well, great. Hit that subscribe button for more sips, tips, and recipes, and let's go make the Angel Face. To the bar. Angel Face, the cocktail. This drink dates back to the 1930s, actually 1930, in Harry Craddock's The Savoy Cocktail Book. Now, that is the extent of our history. I don't know where the name came from. I don't know who actually invented it, but it is in Harry Craddock's book. And it's a very simple cocktail. Angel Face cocktail. 1/3 dry gin, 1/3 apricot brandy, 1/3 Calvados. Shake well and strain into cocktail glass. Looks pretty straightforward, looks pretty simple, looks pretty tasty, but let's dive in a little bit deeper. Now, if you are a cocktail aficionado, you may have a thing or two to say about what I have just read to you. Yes, I hear you, and we will get to that. But first, I did do my due diligence when prepping this cocktail as per usual. And back by popular request, I'm gonna show you my process. First, I wanted to try a couple different gins. So I had 2 dry gins. I wanted to taste a sweeter gin, an Old Top gin. Now I'm not mixing with these. I'm just tasting this and thinking about the other ingredients that are going into this cocktail. So I wanted a gin that was gonna be strong enough to hold up to the other flavors. I also just like doing little tastings like this. Then I decided to pick a few different apple brandies. Harry Craddock specifically calls for Calvados, which is a French apple brandy. I had some other apple brandies on hand, including Applejack, and I decided any of these would really work. You don't want them to be too high in alcohol though, because you do want it to mix well with the other ingredients and you want kind of a warm, round apple flavor in this cocktail. But I decided to stick with the Calvados because that's what Harry Craddock says and it's really good. On to the apricot liqueur. I only have the one, so that's what I'm using. I'm not tasting those out. This is a confusing point for a lot of people because it says apricot brandy, but I'm using an apricot liqueur. This is normal. What he means when he says apricot brandy is apricot liqueur. Back in the day, apricot liqueurs were brandy based, so they just called them apricot brandy, even though they were sweetened just like a liqueur. Later, it became common to use a neutral grain spirit as the base for these liqueurs, but people still called them apricot brandies. In fact, today, a lot of people still call apricot liqueurs apricot brandy, but it's not a true brandy. This is made even more confusing in this cocktail because we are using an apple brandy, and that is a true brandy, not a liqueur. It's not to say you can't have an apricot brandy. They do make them, but they're rare. And in this cocktail, if you wanted to seek one out and use it in here, it would be way different. So stick with the liqueur. You want those sugars in this drink. So at this point, this cocktail is in all equal parts, which is great because it makes it super easy to scale it down to itty bitty sample size cocktails so that I can pick out the exact bottles I want to use. And I get to use these little glasses that I inherited from my great grandmother. Turned out they were all pretty good combinations. I ended up going with a London Dry Gin, the Calvados, because that's what Harry Craddock mentioned and is actually really tasty. And then of course the apricot liqueur that I already had. On to the last bit of the recipe, which I think those of you who are cocktail savvy, this probably got your ears to perk up. Craddock says shake well and strain into cocktail glass. Shake well, shake well. Where's the citrus? Where's the dairy? Where's the egg white? I know the rule. If it's all spirit, you're supposed to stir. But Harry Craddock says to shake it up. Kind of get where he's going here because it is a richer, sweet cocktail. He's adding some air, he's making it really cold, he's giving some life to the cocktail. So I wanted to try it. I actually did both. Stirred and shaken. I still preferred the stirred version, so I stuck with stirring. At this point, I started playing around with the ratios a little bit. I do think, yes, it's a sweet cocktail. Yes, it's a good cocktail, but the gin got a little lost, so I started adjusting things ever so slightly, and I'm gonna show you how I did that now. So now the booze. All right. To make this cocktail, we will need dry gin, Calvados, and an apricot liqueur. 3 ingredients. And we talked about all these already. Any dry gin, really any apple brandy is gonna work here. Now, apricot liqueurs do vary in sweetness, so you may have to balance it ever so slightly. In fact, this is notoriously an all equal parts cocktail. Every bartender, content creator, every person I've seen make this cocktail makes it all equal parts. And that is great. But I did find it to be a little sweet. I lost the gin a little bit. So for these 3 bottles, I am going to adjust the recipe, turn those knobs ever so slightly, and balance it out to the way I like it. And you do the same. So let's build. Okie dokie, artichoke. This cocktail is gonna be served up. However, it is a sweet drink. So I do think it would be good served on the rocks as well. Get your glass chilled. We are gonna start with the gin. I'm going to do 1 1/4 ounce of gin. So I'm going to bump up the dry gin a little bit. Then I will do 1 ounce of Calvados and 3/4 of an ounce of the apricot liqueur. Again, this is a sweeter liqueur. So if you're using a drier one, like Rothman in winter, you could go a full ounce. No bitters, just that. Now add ice and stir. About 30 seconds or so. The huge. That should be good. Strain the cocktail off into your cocktail glass. Now, Harry Craddock didn't say anything about a garnish, but an orange peel has become the standard. So we're going to express some orange oil across the top, hit the sides. If you don't have an orange, a lemon will also work. That's gonna really brighten it up. I'm not gonna put anything on here because I like this glass without any garnishes. There we have the angel face. Cheers. Yeah, angel face, would you like to join me? Oz?
Oh. Why, thank you.
Cheers to you. Here we have the angel face. You get first sip.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think it's good.
Oh, good.
It tastes fruity, like a funky apple.
The Calvados does have kind of a funkiness to it, which I really like in the drink.
Yeah.
I really like that one. I like a little bit more gin here. I think it's really nice. Get enough apricot, but the apple really shines. It would be good on a big cube.
Well, that actually sounds good. Actually, I think this would be really nice with a big cube.
And I like the orange on top.
Wow, that was a delight. Thank you, Anders.
You're very welcome, Oz.
Thank you so much.
Make this for your face, because you're an angel face. Right? What else do we have to talk about? Fall.
You know, Trader Joe's, they're getting their seasonal items in, and at Home Depot, they're getting their Halloween, yard decorations out.
Yep, they are.
It's happening.
They look spooky.
It's there. We're there already.
Yeah. Soon, all of those watermelons are gonna magically turn into pumpkins. Thank you for watching. Don't forget your merch. Sign up for the newsletter. We will see you next time. Cheers. Ooh.
Goodbye.